Episode 2, The Name Beneath the Ink, A Winter Story of Forgotten Love. Part 2. The next morning, the village lay silent beneath a thicker layer of snow. The rooftop shimmered in the early light, but Elena's mind wasn't on the view outside. It was still wrapped in the attic, in the letter she'd read the night before. She climbed the stairs again, her fingers cold around a fresh cup of tea, and sat beside the box of letters as if it were sacred. The second envelope was smaller. Torn slightly at the corner, it read, "To A.L. Always." She opened it. "I watched you leave through the frost on the window. I didn't knock. I didn't call out. But I whispered your name into the quiet, and somehow I think you heard me." Elena closed her eyes. The voice in the letter sounded so much like her grandmother's, not the one who baked strudels or told bedtime stories, but a younger version, a woman in love, a woman left behind. There was pain in the ink. The photograph. Digging deeper into the box, Elena found something unexpected, a folded piece of thick, aged paper. When she opened it, her breath caught. A black and white photograph. Two young people standing in front of a tree wrapped in lights. The woman, unmistakably her grandmother, laughing, wild curls escaping her scarf. The man beside her had kind eyes, a coat too big for his frame, and initials sewn onto the corner of his scarf, A.L. Elena turned the photo over. On the back, in faded pencil, was written, "Vienna, December 1956, the last snowfall, a familiar stranger." The name A.L. echoed in Elena's head. She opened 3 more letters. One was a poem, another described a winter concert, and the last one, "You told me once that we only get one real home in this life. I didn't understand what you meant until you left. I've lived in the same house all my life, and still it hasn't felt like home since you've been gone." It was signed simply E. That was it. No full name, no date. Just E. For Elena's grandmother. And now, decades later, another E. was holding the letter, tears warming her eyes. The cold outside. Later that evening, Elena bundled herself in her grandmother's old coat and stepped outside. The snow crunched beneath her boots as she walked down the lane. The village was quiet. Lights glowed behind shutters. She passed the bakery, the old church tower, the bench where she used to feed birds as a girl. Everything had changed, and yet nothing had. She returned home with cheeks flushed and mind full. Sitting by the fire, she opened one last letter before bed. The 4th letter. "I couldn't tell you then. I didn't have the words. Maybe I still don't. But I loved you. I loved you in every snowfall, every silence, every cup of tea I poured after you left. And I kept writing, because it made me feel like you might still answer." Elena folded the letter with shaking hands. These were not just letters. They were a memory she had never lived, but one that somehow belonged to her now. She lit a candle and set it by the window just like her grandmother used to do. A signal, a hope. Maybe somehow A.L. would still see it. To be continued. Are you ready to hear what happens next? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell to follow Letters from the Attic. Episode 3 arrives so soon.